What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Standout SJ Square Photography, bring you back another video today. Today's video is going to be all about editing my photo. Yes, I went out and asked a couple of my buddies, my YouTube buddies, to edit one of my photos that I sent out with it. Now, as you know, I do absolutely love editing photos. That's just what I kind of do. It's what I kind of fell in love with. I love all the different looks that you can get out of a photo, which in turn, I just love everybody's different type of styles of how you do things. So I went out and gave one of my photos, matter of fact, this picture right here, I went out and gave it to my boy TMidd and Anthony Toglife to go ahead and give them a reason of why they edited the photo the way they did, so you could just get a chance to see absolutely the different styles that photography really is. That's just what photography is all about. It's all about the different creative styles that you can really get in post. I believe what makes a photographer kind of makes them stand out is post editing, actually. You know, this is what I kind of believe. Of course, you have to be all the good, but what really makes you stand out is post editing. That's what I just kind of believe in. So I'm going to show you the photo right now of my little edit. I did an edit on this before already, so I'm just going to show you a brief of what I just kind of do. I'm just going to show you before and after, then my final. As you know, if you follow me on IG, I do a straight out of camera, then I actually edit all my stuff in Lightroom, and then from there I go to Affinity Photo. So I'm just going to show you what I started with, what I end up out of Lightroom, and then I'm going to go show you my final photo. All this is going to be in Lightroom Mobile, but I'm just going to go ahead and transition into it and show you how it is. So let's just go ahead and get started right now. So here's the photo right here that got edited out. So this is the straight out of Lightroom. I'm gonna go take you straight to the original. So here's the original. As you can see, it is completely, really dark. It's underexposed, maybe about a stop and a half, maybe 2 stops. I did shoot this with the 300 millimeter f4 lens by Nikkor. I rented it probably about a couple years ago. This image is pretty old. So I rented it, went out there and shot with it, and this is kind of what we got right here now. It is underexposed. It's underexposed big time, but that's because it was that sun was really beaming that day. Then I was using ultra camera flash, and then I was kind of trying to play with the apertures. And sometimes when I'm out there playing that, sometimes I honestly just do forget about making my exposure right. So just to be completely honest with you, I do like shooting, probably a stop underexposed, but not 2 stops underexposed, like what this photo looks like. But anyway, now I'm gonna go ahead and show you what I did after, within Lightroom right here. Of course, I brung it up. I just kind of done some things of that nature. Of course, I had to bring it up, just kind of lighten up the colors right here. As you can see, look, 2.5, like I said, it was almost 2 stops underexposed, guys. But that's just what it was right straight out of Lightroom. So now I'm gonna go ahead and go over and show you my final photo. This right here is the absolutely final photo after I take it into Affinity Photo and let it do all my good jazz. That's where I kind of really do my skin retouching. And of course, if I don't like it, the exposure or the coloring that I did in Lightroom, mostly that's what I really kind of do. I do all my color grading, mostly in Lightroom. But if I don't Infinity Photo, I still have the reason to kind of bring it down. But as you can see right here, this is my final output. Like I said, I ain't gonna get into great details, but now I'm gonna go ahead and switch it right over to Anthony Toglife, and I'm gonna go ahead and show you, he's gonna go ahead and show you what he done and give you a brief explanation. Then right after that's gonna be my man TMidd. So let's just go ahead. And
I went from this to this. So we're 2 minutes on the clock. Let's go. So we had straight out of camera. From there, I did the lens correction. After that, I updated the color profile. I changed it to flat. I just wanted to have a base to start. From there, I updated the white balance to adjust for the green color cast from the foliage. After that, I went into the basic adjustments. There was nothing fancy here. I basically just did it to taste, raised the exposure, added some contrast, adjusted the highlights, shadows, that sort of thing. From there, I updated the color. I wanted to change the green to be more green. Typically, when you take pictures, that green is a little bit more on the yellow side. And since there was the blues and the oranges in the image, I really wanted that green to be green to balance it out. So I updated the color. From there, I did a tone curve adjustment, nothing major at all, just added a little bit more punch to the blacks and to the whites. From there, I did a mask for the background. I basically just wanted to balance out that exposure between the background and the subject. Next, I did a crop. I didn't feel like the bottom half of the image was necessary, so I did a crop. Then from there, I did a mask to fix the exposure on the stomach area. From there, I did a mask to bring down the exposure on the subject. Next, I did a mask to add a little bit of punch to the hair. I then did a mask to just add just a bit of pop to the eyes and then also to the lips. I just kind of wanted to make the lips a little bit more vibrant so they stood out. From there, I just did some adjustments to fix the highlight on the cheek. It was just a little bit too harsh, so I decided to fix that. Then from there, I added a radial adjustment just to bring a little bit more focus to the subject. Then I did another adjustment to the greens. They were a little bit too blue on the cool side, so I warmed those up a little bit. And then lastly, I added a vignette. So again, we went from here to here.
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? T to the M to the IDD. And I have to give you my breakdown on this particular edit. So SJ gave me this photo, and I'm just gonna give you the breakdown of how I initially edited the photo. Now, first of all, I have to say that this image was absolutely phenomenal coming straight out of the camera. So typically I have a certain style that I like to edit with when I do photo shoots that are outdoors, and so I kind of followed that same flow. So in Lightroom Classic is where I did all of my editing. I have a preset that is TMidd's outdoor edit, and it has kind of a faint mute tone to the colors. So this time I wanted to do something just a little bit different, and I wanted the colors to pop. So when I went to the colors, I made them more vibrant, added just a touch more of saturation. The photo was already completely sharp, and as far as like the skin didn't have many imperfections, so I didn't really have to go in and do too much with the skin. Now you see there's a lot of greenery, and I really wanted that greenery to pop so that you can get a little bit more sense of the environment. And so I went in and I did a little hue saturation and luminance, and went into the luminance a little bit and played with the greens to try to bring those out just a little bit more. And we had a few layer masks in there just to put a little bit more exposure on the model, so that way your eyes are drawn to the model instead of maybe some of the environments around it. So that's pretty much how I went about this edit. Pretty nice, clean image straight from the file that SJ gave me, and a phenomenal file. So that's pretty much how I did my edit, Lightroom Classic. Peace.
Now, as you can see, you just got finished seeing Anthony Toglife Edit and my boy TMidd Edit. Of course, now we're at the end. I'm gonna put them all up on the screen right now, and you just kind of be the judge of what you kind of like. This necessarily isn't a competition. It's just to show the different styles that every photographer have when it comes to post editing. So therefore, you can just go ahead, check it out, write it down in the comments below, and tell me which one that you kind of prefer. Really, like I said, this is not a competition. It's not a right or wrong. It's just to show what photography is all about and how creative you can really be when it gets finished in the post process. Like I said in the beginning of this video, I really think that you stand out as a photographer about what you can do in your post editing. That's just how I kind of really can feel that kind of makes you stand out. And of course, like I said, the other stuff, you know, it works in twofold. You got to be a good photographer in the beginning, get the good shot, all that good stuff. But also, like I said, a standout is really when it comes to post editing. So like I said, this is a quick video. I just want to show you different styles. Like I said, put it down in the comments below which one you really absolutely enjoy out of the two. And then into the next video. Oh, before I even get to the next video, make sure you go follow those guys. Those are my brothers, man. I like them, my YouTube brothers. They absolutely are just awesome for doing this. Really, I want to thank them for doing it. Of course, go follow them. I'll link all their stuff down in the description box below. So please go check out their YouTube channels, and as well as their IGs and all their other social media outlets. Please go check them out. Now, if you like my content, please consider yourself subscribing if you like what I do over here on my channel. Until the next video, peace.